about 3 or 4 years ago, my bosses kind of started heaping on like route manager duties again because I was there every day and could understand where trucks are throughout the day. Just like, oh yeah, it's 3 hours into the route. You're probably going to be here. Go find them. Sure, shit, they're there. I'm not anybody important. I've never gotten any official promotions or anything like that. They just pay me a little bit more and I do this. But we still work off of paper maps,
Oh boy.
some of which that were drawn 30 years ago. Mind you, I'm 30. And so I've been, off and on pushing. Like at one point, I was going to learn how to code to write some kind of software just so we could like visualize route on top of route, who's crossing everywhere, because the official route sheets that get printed off every day are not what's getting run by each driver. Just stuff gets moved around as some drivers get there earlier, some drivers get there later. Got to get these main roads picked up, so stuff has changed.
So today we're joined with Pete. Pete, welcome to Talk Dirty to Me. How are you doing today?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
All right. So you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a rear load driver in Cincinnati, Ohio for Rumpke. It's I think, seventh largest company in the nation, still fully family owned. I've been a driver for about 8 years now. Started out as a helper for about 3 months, and we do this helper to driver training program, which in the past has worked better than it's working now. But I enjoy it. It's the easiest job I've ever had.
We do something like that where you come in and you train to be a driver.
Yeah.
They send you away. Do they make you like work there for so long, like sign a contract to work there for so long?
So yeah, we'll do a year contract as part of the driver training, and then if not, you have to pay like $2,000. I've never seen that happen. Typically, if you're good, we want you to stick around, and if you're not good and you decide to disappear, good riddance.
Right. Yeah, I've seen people quit.
Yeah.
How about you, Alex?
I mean, we definitely have seen a revolving door where we worked a lot. I mean, over the years. I mean, I've been there for what, 8 years now? You've been there about the same. So I
Yeah.
mean, we definitely don't have the same team we both started with.
Right.
Get one new driver, lose about two.
Yeah.
Consistent, man.
It's been a struggle to keep drivers. So what did you do before you became a trash man? Like what were you doing in life before that point?
Yeah, so in the lead up, so short story, my first job ever was I was the Chick-fil-A cow. That was in high school. Best, also coolest job I ever had. Basically worked for free food because you don't get paid well as a mascot, but got to do a bunch of cool things. Got to do our Reds opening day parade a couple times. Got to be in the ballpark, running around on the field a couple times. So that was cool. But regardless, the cool job I had was I was a mortuary technician and cremation operator for about 2 years, and we did high yield calls. So we worked for about 30 different funeral homes where we would pick up and deliver to them if they were just going to do embalmings and burials, or we would also bring them back to our shop, and we'd have 2 or 3 big walk-in coolers where we'd have about 40 to 50 bodies on hand at a time. We'd be cremating all week, and then I would be on call all night for pickups. So it was a really cool job. It didn't pay very well though.
Sounds interesting.
So you went from taking care of bodies to taking care of trash.
Exactly. And when I got hired on, one of the few things they tried to warn me about is you'll see some bugs and smell some smells. I said, you don't know what I've seen. I've seen a lot. We had a coroner contract for one of the local counties around here that had a lot of overdoses and stuff. So we've seen a lot of just horrible pickups on top of doing just private death stuff.
Wow. So like both jobs, it required something to be put in the ground.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of heavy lifting, a lot of lifting things that there's no safe, good way to do it. So I'd rather be picking up a washing machine than picking up this is real, an 800-pound human. Yeah. That's about the largest I ever saw. I saw a couple around that size, but
I've always been curious, like how do they go into the house and get some of them out? Like no disrespect or anything,
yeah.
but
No, so it's pretty easy. So on any hospital calls or nursing home calls, I would be by myself, and I'd just be in like a Chevy Venture or what else? A Town and Country. The seats removed, and we just had a cot in the back, and just go and slide them over, take them out. That was pretty easy. But for house calls, you never kind of knew what you were going into, so you always had at least one other person with you. Sometimes the funeral director would also show up. Police would be there most of the time, and then we could call the fire department if we needed like lift assist. But typically, we just bring in the cot, set the cot on the ground, and get a sheet up under them, and then just lift them up and over. If they were like upstairs or downstairs, we had what's called a Reeves cot, which is like a foldable bendy cot. that we could then carry them down and get them to the big, like sturdier Hoyer cot. So just bend, lift, and not flip, but bend and lift, and hope you don't flip them over. But that happened too. You bang your head on something, you're bringing them out. The first couple of times, you apologize, and then you realize it's like moving a couch. I don't. I mean, I picked up like 400 people each year I was there. We cremated like 1,200 people, so you get used to it.
Dang,
Wow.
man.
Yeah.
That's a job.
Yeah.
I used
So
to be a
cool.
mover. I moonlighted as a mover for a while, and I definitely didn't move any bodies though. So,
Not that you know of, did you look in any of the trunks?
well, I mean, they were kind of heavy. So,
Yeah. You understand what dead weight is when you work in the funeral industry.
Right.
well, we definitely
Yeah,
know
I've
what
never.
dead weight is in our own company. I mean, we got to
Yeah,
cut out.
fair. I always hope that if, God forbid, shows up in one of our trash cans, that it's me that finds it, because I'm already screwed up from it.
Right.
Yeah, some of these other poor babyface guys that work for me would be wrecked for the rest of their lives. I'm like, I've seen it. I don't know.
Shawn.
What are you talking about? Why are you putting me in it?
Basically,
So because you guys got beards and I don't.
that's right.
That's right.
Okay.
There's real trash men have beards.
All the juices.
Yep. So, but yeah, I mean, so you're a rear load driver. So
Yes.
any funny experiences with that?
Funny, not so much. I mean, you get all the old people. Drop my food off. Anyway, someone got it. I don't really care. You get all the old people that want to come out and help you drag a couch to the street, and you hope that they don't. You always love getting the tips from the people that put out 2 bags of trash instead of 1 bag of trash. But in general, there's no good stories from the rear load game. I don't. You just find trash, pick up trash, go home. Try not to work 14 hours in a day.
Are you by yourself all day, or do you have
I
a help?
try to be. We have about 4 or 5 helpers on the crew, and about 30, a little bit under 30 drivers, including it's confusing the way Rumpke works. So Rumpke of Cincinnati, there's like 11 different locations that Rumpke has now, but in the main one with the big landfill, there's about 320-ish rear load trucks. All of the residential rear load, and we have a couple of side load and a couple of front load. 98% is rear load still. It's all run by subcontractors. So I don't work for Rumpke Corporate and those 320 other drivers. I work for Jack Rumpke, whose dad's brother was Big Bill, who started the company. And he only manages about 30 trucks. I imagine that's so we can't unionize, but what do I care? I make the money I want to make.
Right.
But yeah, so we have about five or 6 helpers, 30 drivers. So I try to leave out every day early because I don't like watching people play in traffic, and I would rather just do the work myself.
Right.
And our helpers aren't good necessarily all the time. I'm like we're just dragging more ass. So I'd prefer to
Right.
just do it all myself.
Yep. That's what I was just gonna say too. Like you know you can get the job done, and sometimes the helper would just be there, like for no reason.
Yep.
I've
And
left a helper on route before.
Yep. I've dropped him off to some other driver and pawn him off. Here, I want you to have him now. Yeah, I've found that. So like I said, I start at like 2 a.m. sometimes earlier than that, depending, because we run like deep woods Indiana routes out of Cincinnati too. So I got 170, 180 mile days sometimes, and I'll either start that early, and everybody will get done by noon. They all start at like 4:30, or I start it on time with everybody else, and everybody's getting done at 1:30 or 2 o'clock, and I'm like, come on, guys.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I would rather just start early. I'll take the longer day. My day is going to be made longer anyway. They trust me enough to like just dump more trash on me, which I don't care about. I like working. So I'd rather just start early and get everything done and get everybody home and try to keep morale up, which is difficult.
Yeah. It's definitely. I mean, so I've ran reload a few times, and I was definitely a thrower, so I've been on both sides of it. Yeah, rear loads. It's a task. It's definitely some work.
Yeah, and we're still majority take-all contract too, so we don't just do the toter by the side of the street. We're probably only maybe 65, 70% toters, and the rest are still shitty old hand cans that are all broken, and we're not supposed to throw them away. But if they fall in the hopper, we're not allowed to get them back out.
Right. Are you like bulk pickup too? Like you pick up everything that's there?
Yep, everything goes. So yard waste, we have a separate recycling like corporate crew that'll go out with about 90 trucks, but we have 1 to 2-ish recycling routes a day that my crew will run, depending on the area. So that'll just go onto a recycling truck and onto our recycling plant. But
Right.
sometimes it disappears. Don't know how
Right.
that happens. But yeah, then everything else just goes on our trucks. So big couches, small couches.
Okay. Alex used to work for the city, or a town.
It was a village. It was a village. It wasn't as big as a city, but no.
Right.
How I got started off is I started off as a thrower for a village municipality. Did that for about 3 years. They were dicking me around, not hiring me on full time. So I had to get second or third jobs just to make ends meet. Then where we work at it now, they were hiring full time, and then they said basically you can have as much overtime as you want. So I'm like, all right, bet.
Yep.
Got involved with this company, and they were all automated trucks, and I'm like, I've never even seen one of these before. Like, and then my first day I was there, I was like, oh well, you're a garbage man, so you know what you're doing. So they gave me a day of showing me the controls, and then after that,
good luck.
That was our training. That was 100% our training. Now it's like 6 weeks, I believe.
It's some crap where they train somebody for 6 weeks, then all of a sudden they're on their own for the first week, and then you never see them again. So you're having a 7-week turnaround period just for somebody to just milk the clock,
Yeah, that's one of our many problems. So I've gotten, I don't know, 8 or 9 of my friends hired. All of the ones I've gotten hired, I have a lot of people asking me for jobs. I've had to trust beforehand that they're not going to suck. They've all lasted a matter of a year to a year and a half. I have 2 or 3 there still that are doing great. But in general, the people that we get hired anymore and then that we train from being helpers to being drivers, the signs are there when they're helpers that they're not going to be positive when they become drivers. And sure as shit, they don't show up as a helper. They say they'll do better once they start getting paid more.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just no call, no show 4 days out of the week.
Yep.
But a bad butt in the seat for us is better than no butt in the seat at all.
Right. I mean, that's how most of the people are in the industry, unfortunately. It's basically got a warm body, put them in the cab.
Yep. And
It.
then the fight I'm fighting now. So about 3 or 4 years ago, my bosses kind of started heaping on like route manager duties again because I was there every day and could understand where trucks are throughout the day. Just like, oh yeah, it's 3 hours into the route. You're probably going to be here. Go find them. Sure as shit, they're there. I'm not anybody important. I've never gotten any official promotions or anything like that. They just pay me a little bit more and I do this. But we still work off of paper maps.
Oh boy.
Some of which that were drawn 30 years ago. Mind you, I'm 30. And so I've been, off and on pushing. Like at one point I was going to learn how to code to write some kind of software just so we could like visualize route on top of route, who's crossing everywhere, because the official route sheets that get printed off every day are not what's getting run by each driver. Just stuff gets moved around as some drivers get there earlier, some drivers get there later, got to get these main roads picked up, so stuff has changed. Then to come to find out, come to find out about a month ago, I was asking about software again. And they're like, yeah, we use this Route Smart software. The best in the business. It exists already. Our company has it. We have route analysts. They just haven't given it to the subcontractors yet to start messing with. And we've used it for years. So I was like, can we maybe start working on us using that? Because I would love to become a route analyst and, get embedded into the crew as a route analyst who still picks up trash, but understands what all these routes actually look like and understands why this container can't be put on this route on this day because the driver's coming from the other direction. So then I asked about one of our routes specifically. It didn't make any sense. He picks up half his day in one part of town and then drives 20 minutes to another part of town to pick up half of a trailer park. I was like, why does this happen? Like this specific route to me doesn't make sense. They're like, oh, well, back in the day when we used 16-yard truck, he would dump his first load and come back out. We haven't used 16-yard trucks probably since the year 2000. And this route hasn't changed since the year 2000. So that's currently the fight that I'm fighting because nothing makes sense.
Right. A lot of companies do that too, though. Like here where we're at, I actually work on a route, and another guy works right beside me, but we cross each other all the time. Like we're always on each other's side, and it's like this makes no sense. Why are we doing it like this? And we use tablet systems, so all of our stuff is mapped. So.
Yeah, they've talked about. We just got dash cams in trucks in the last year, and it's the kind that you can have forward facing and backward facing. But right now they just run the forward facing tattletale model that tells when you're running stop signs in parking lots. There. Sorry, I gotta get my coffee. That part's gotten a little annoying, but at least it didn't tell us anymore either. turning this company's like turning a battleship sometimes, probably because everything still works, right? All the trash at the end of the day is getting picked up. So
Yeah, that's all they care about.
Once that stops happening, even if you could optimize routes and make more money come in and make everything get picked up faster, and as long as the money still flows, that's all I care about.
Right. Now, do you get paid decent?
Yeah. I'm like at 25 an hour plus overtime. So I'd get 55 to 60 hours on my check every week. That's not too bad.
You know,
And then I married a nurse, so she's a sugar mama.
Oh yeah, they make good money. Nurses definitely make good money.
Yeah, she's a CVICU nurse, so she does heart stuff.
She makes your paychecks look like baby paychecks.
Exactly. Yeah.
he's just doing it for the fun, all right?
That's right.
Enjoyment. It's not.
Alex likes hearing stuff like that. Alex, do your big fire. So, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting story. Like you guys ain't thinking about getting automated trucks. Like your company don't think about getting automated trucks.
So right now, my crew has one auto car resi front loader with the gripper on it. We weren't actually supposed to get one of those. We were supposed to get a resi front with just a toter tipper on it, where the driver would be out of the truck every time anyway. Whoever orders the truck screwed that up. And obviously it does faster work better. It's 15 seconds to stop instead of 45 seconds to a minute and a half for stop. Even if you're throwing all types of trash in there, not just running cans. The owner of the group I'm in still runs that. He's 74, 76. He's still out there, and he could still run rear loads. But we still have trucks that are, I don't know, 15 years old, 18 years old internationals, like bubble fronts. And we're just getting into the CNG game here in the last, I don't know, 8 or 9 years, which, yeah, those are all garbage. Our first, our first generation of CNG trucks, they all had to end up going back to Mac because they were blowing holes in their aluminum pistons at 30,000 miles because natural gas burns hot, weirdly enough.
Mm-hmm.
And the first couple did it, and Mac was like, run them until they break, and then we'll fix them. But yeah, they can't pull their way out of a wet paper bag. They don't pack as well. They're loud as hell.
Mm-hmm. Ours says clean and quiet on it. Do. And then, so I used to say because when it ran clean and quiet, that truck had no power. So I used to say, I want this thing to run loud and nasty.
How nasty. Yeah, and then our other problem is, like I said, we do a lot of Indiana stuff. So every day we've got at least 5 trucks 50 or 60 miles from home out going towards Indianapolis out of Cincinnati. And, we'll run into problems in the winter, or if it's heavy because of hills, like we'll have trucks just stranded out there running out of gas on their way back in.
Yep.
And we have the ability to refuel them off of one of our mechanics trucks, but it takes so long, they just end up sending a wrecker out. It doesn't matter if we're 15 feet from the entrance of our yard, like they'll send a wrecker company out to tow us into the yard. Waste of money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
They're definitely meant for more cityscapes.
Yeah.
They're not meant for country routes. They're not meant to go out and climb hills, down hills, because most of the CNGs don't even have an engine brake, so you can't even downshift them to even catch a gear, so you're slowing down. So they're meant for flat level ground with no obstructions and not be used, for 12 hours a day, because you do that, they're just going to keep burning out and you're going to be stranded.
Burning out all the, not the plug wires, whatever oh shit, we have a known issue with all of ours where someone gets a misfire and I'm like, you'll be down for 45 minutes, they'll get out there, they'll replace it on the side of the highway, you'll be on your own, don't worry about it. It happens so frequently and it's so annoying. Yeah, so I drove one of those for the cab over Mac for, I don't know, 3 years. Best I ever got was like, I'd start sweating about fuel range at 180 miles was, I think, the max I ever got. So you have a really bad day in Connersville, Indiana. It's you're getting towed in, and you just kind of resign yourself to that. Call somebody, tell them to get you off the clock, and sit around until someone can come pick you up. Now I'm in a Mac cab over diesel, but go ahead.
Right. They don't have the thing where you could jump from one CNG to the other, because we had something that could jump from one CNG to the next.
Yeah. So one of our mechanic trucks is a CNG as well. It's a little international cute thing, but I've never seen them use it. I don't know if just because it takes so long, or
Yeah.
someone isn't certified to do it, or it's always just we've used the same tow company for years. They're located right across the street from the dump. I haven't dug into the ownership of this tow company. I think someone that with the Rumpke family has some ties to this tow company because
Right.
Well, it's kind of like our company. You know, we work for Casella Waste. We
Mhm.
got Casella Insurance, Casella Landfills, Casella Recycling Centers.
Yep,
We're all just paying each other to do our own Casella jobs.
exactly.
Yeah. I'm surprised.
I've been shocked that we never bought like a wrecker, like just not
Yeah.
to go do the recovery stuff if someone decides to flip their truck off a cliff, but like if
Yep.
someone needs to be towed in from the highway, like why don't we
Right.
just have our own wrecker? Because we tow in probably 4 a day. We have so many trucks. We have probably almost 1,000 trucks that come out of here.
Right. You
Right.
can't
Makes
launder
sense with
money
that,
if they own it. They got to have someone else own it. Them just being
right? Yeah, like I said, Beavis towing, okay, Rumpke towing.
right.
Right.
Never see him do anything else.
I've been wondering why we don't have a wrecker either, because we tow back a lot of trucks as well.
Yeah.
It's the landfill. The landfill kills us. They kill the trucks.
Oh yeah. Yeah, especially when it gets this cold out and it gets real rocky and bump. Oh, brutal, especially in cab overs. Oh my God.
How was last week for you? Was last week really cold?
Brutal. Yeah. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all were hovering around 0, got down to about 8 below on Wednesday, like normal temperature plus wind. So Monday wasn't that bad. You dressed warm, wear warm gloves, but Wednesday I couldn't be warm. Like I had layers and layers on. I had a huge coat, nothing. So I just had to stop moving around every 30 minutes, sit in the truck for 20 minutes, warm back up, and then keep going. So that sucked.
Right.
But we do a lot of wind out this way. But we had got canceled for the snow that happened 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. We got called off a day, which rarely happens, but the roads were so trashed. So they wouldn't call us off for this cold. I wouldn't. You can't call us off for 3 days. There's just no way to make that amount of trash up. So deal with it.
Yeah, they we were working. It was like 5 degrees, 2 degrees, 5 degrees, around there all 3 days. Yeah, so we're not that far from you.
Yep. What was that, 2 Christmases ago now, where like a bunch of us got down to like -15 or -20 without wind, and then it was like -35, -40. I was like on a Friday right after Christmas, and I got a text at 3 o'clock from one of my bosses that said, "Hey, we're delayed until 6." Great, okay. So I show up at like 5:30 to make sure all the trucks are running because I live 5 minutes from the landfill. I can do this fun stuff. Hadn't heard from anybody. Show up, go to clock in after checking all the trucks. And there's just a note on our clock in thing that says, "We're not working today. We'll make it up next week." It's for everybody. It's for the whole company. I was like, "Are we not making phone calls now?" Like, I made it in. Like, it took me 20 minutes to get dressed. I look like a Michelin man, all puffed out.
Yeah,
I was like, I guess I'll just go back home and spend 20 minutes getting undressed.
yeah,
We definitely dealt with that before too. I never because we start at 4 in the morning. And I was going to start early one day, but we got a snowstorm. So like, all right, well, it's about 3 o'clock. Drive to work. I get there. There's no other cars there. I go in, start doing things, open the gates up, and then around like it was like 4:30 after I was already on the road with my truck, and I'm like, I get a call from my boss. Yeah, hey, we're canceling work today. I forgot to put out a delay.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm already on route, and I'm gonna just pick up this street and call it a day then, I guess.
Yeah, I did that too. Last year we had not an ice storm, but like they knew the roads were going to get bad. And I run deep country, like don't have cell service for 4 hours kind of country on my Thursday route. So I start that normally between 12:30 and 1, get out to my first stop around 2. This day I clocked in at like 11 at night. I got out there real early to try to beat this ice. Get a call from my boss at like 1. He's like, "Where are you at?" I'm like, "I'm out here, but I'm going to have to leave all this. Everything's an ice sheet now. I'm sliding down hills. This is not fun." He's like, "Oh yeah, I would have told you just to leave that route. We would pick it up next week." I was like, "Great."
now they tell you.
No, nice.
Yeah, I've been on route and they called us back before too. They were like, "Hey, come back. We're gonna end it." I was like,
We're done.
I got like a half a side of a street left. I'm finishing the route.
Yeah, we're just gonna get this done.
And I got done, and then they're like, "Hey, do you want to go to the landfill?" And it's like, "No, I don't want to go to the landfill."
That was brutal. But then of course you're worried that all the trash are gonna freeze on the back of your truck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you tell the mechanics, "Hey, park that inside."
Yeah,
That's
we
that one
had that option.
We had what was it like 5 or 6 years ago, Shawn? And then we were all out on route, and then around 11 o'clock in the morning, they're like, "Yeah, I guess we could finally call it a day. It's already got like freaking 4 feet of snow on the ground.
Oh
Yep.
God,
And I was
I'm
on the
so glad
lake.
we've never had to do that. We had 8 inches, 9 inches here a couple weeks ago, and that was brutal because they canceled it. Everybody put out their trash Sunday night before the snow happened, of course. They didn't want to get them snow on themselves, so then all the plows plowed in all of our cans up to the letters.
Oh yeah.
And then it just hasn't gone away since. So
You
it's
guys
I haven't
definitely
been able to use a bus door or anything for the last 3 weeks, and my legs hurt.
you guys definitely get more snow than us though.
We really haven't had a lot of snow. Like, this is the most snow we've had in the last 8 years.
Really?
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, Shawn, if you don't look at the map, like Ohio's kind of flat, so I mean, it's always windy.
Yep.
Always
Yep.
getting snow drifts, man.
Yep. Yeah. Cincinnati's weird, and we pick up into like Brookville, Indiana area as well, and that's super hilly. I guess that's where the glaciers stopped or whatever. I don't know. I was looking on a map about this a couple weeks ago because I was always confused about why it's super hilly. Then you get one county up, and then you get the crazy drifting snow.
Yep.
You know, months after the snow is falling, you still got these drifts coming across and glazing the roads back over. And yeah, something about glaciers or something. I don't know. But yeah, we've got crazy hills and then big flatlands just north of us that we also pick up.
Yep. Because we live in the Finger Lakes area over here.
Okay.
A whole bunch of lakes, all from the glaciers, and it's
Yep.
all valleys. It's a pain in the ass.
Yep. We pick up so many alleys and shit that we should not be going down in big 25-yard trucks.
Yeah, we
Shawn knows all about that.
yeah,
Touching
we
grass on both sides. Turning around the telephone poles in the alley.
Yep, definitely have that.
Written into the contract.
I'm kind of glad that we work for a subscription service and we don't got to deal with bulk items anymore. It's just toter, one front load can, and that's it. You know, just keep on moving. But I mean,
That's nice. I'm pretty sure our bulk pickup is why. So we have Republic in town and we have Best Way in town. They don't have any kind of foothold here, and I think that's because one, Rumpke has been so big for so long. Two, as far as I've been able to research, the mafia never got their fingers into the Rumpke crew. Right? I've looked. I haven't seen any like weird connections between that stuff. So they just been able to grow big, and they were so insulated from the Chicagos or from
New York,
Toledo area, Detroit area, and then up near you guys, obviously. But they just were able to work for themselves down here for just after World War II and just grow to be this gigantic monster of a company and just box out all the other companies. I think we own 15 landfills now in the area. We go into Pennsylvania. We go into just south of Chicago. We're in Detroit. We're almost into Tennessee. And obviously, the farther away you get from the main crew, everything's way smaller. But yeah, I think grand total, we have like 3,000 or 3,500 trucks on the road.
Wow.
Doing
You
different
guys are
types of
bigger than
pickup.
I thought. I've never even heard. Well, I haven't heard of any other company aside from Casella. So
Yeah, right, fair.
we've heard of Waste Management. We've heard.
yeah. Waste management.
Oh yeah, waste management's one place around here, and they're sucking about 45 miles from us. Yeah, they bought some company just to shut them down because they wanted their transfer station.
Well,
Suck at Waste Management.
yeah. When we took on a route or a whole contract that we started doing like 6 yards extra in arm truck.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. So we had to go in and we got the arm trucks and we had to get out of the can and fill a toter up and just keep dumping it like 30 times because we had a contract to take 6 yards of extra trash at these people's houses. And it was a long day.
That's insane. I think that's another reason why we still run rear loads. We have a lot of containers. On my Thursday, I pick up 65 rear load containers on top of 65 hand stops and 180 miles.
Yeah.
So I'm just out in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, when Waste Management bought it, was called CGS. I don't even know what it stood for. But they were like South Central, I guess Southeast Central Indiana. Waste Management just dumped a whole county onto us because they're like, that's too far away. We're not doing that. So we picked up 250, 300 customers overnight. That was fun.
Yeah, we had that same thing happen too. A company like right next to us closed down and they dumped thousands and thousands of customers onto us.
Jesus, that's a nightmare.
It was a headache.
Yeah.
Alex
we just bought a company called Big Bees out of Newcastle, Indiana. We didn't, the big corporate did. And we were told 3 weeks before the transfer of ownership took place that this transfer of ownership was taking place. And it's a good thing because we have 8 trucks that park about an hour and a half from our dump in a warehouse, basically. And they just pick up that local area. They dump at the municipal landfill up there. They get serviced another 45 minutes away. So it's basically a road call every time something goes wrong with one of those trucks. So the good thing is that once we bought this, we now own a landfill up there that we can dump at whenever we need to. We don't have to worry about holiday closures of this municipal landfill. There's going to be a garage up there. All the trucks are going to come out of there. So hopefully we're going to be able to remaneuver all of our Indiana operations out of that place. That way we're not sending trucks all the way out of Cincinnati to drive them all the way back here when they're loaded versus driving them on the flatlands to go to dump in Newcastle and park in Newcastle. That's the goal, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. Do you guys have long wait times at your landfill?
Not recently. We just, about a year and a half ago now, just started dumping in our final 30-year expansion on this property that we're on now. Back before that expansion, I think the longest ever waited was an hour and a half, but anymore it's you pull up, by the time you undo your turnbuckles, the line's moving forward and you're dumping and you're out. So on the property to parking your truck is probably 40 minutes, including fueling up.
Not us.
It's about a 3-mile drive back to the dumping site. It's huge.
Sometimes we get stuck there for like 2 hours because we got a lot of tippers and walkers and dump buckets. When the dump
we're big enough. We have that too, but they just dump in their own part of the landfill. Or we have a newly built transfer station as well that they'll send them into on the property, and then they'll just drive the transfer truck up.
We wish.
Yeah, we wish.
Yeah.
Alex wishes. We when they say dump buckets, I mean there will be a line of dump buckets, and we're just like pissed because
they usually put them right next to where we're dumping. So we won't let them dump while we're dumping, and then we gotta wait. So they'll call 3 trucks down, 1 bucket, and then 20 minutes later, oh hey, how many little trucks up there? Oh, we got like 20 of them. Give me another bucket. That's what the hell.
Exactly.
Do they let you guys all like line up side by side and dump? Because there's a landfill municipal landfill, you can only dump 1 truck at a time. It's horrible.
We're supposed to leave 10 to 15 feet distance between trucks. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, we're in a lawsuit right now. Somebody got buried up to their waist and ended up dying. Had a heart attack on the property. It was a transfer truck driver, I think, for Montgomery County. Something. But one of the city drivers, it's not our drivers, buried this guy. Didn't even notice, pulled off. They dug him out, and then he drove his truck down, parked, and then had a heart attack.
Jeez.
But yeah. I mean, on a good day, when they're not starting like a new little cell where we dump 2 at a time, we can have 25 trucks next to each other dumping at the same time, as long as you don't have the big frameless dump semi trucks that come in and ruin everything when everybody else is trying to dump. Those are annoying, but yeah, generally there's no wait, nothing.
Right. No, we get about 3. We get them about 3 at a time, and we're side by side.
Yeah.
They try to have us do 10 feet, but that does not. It never works.
Just stagger where you are and don't bury your neighbor. That's all that matters.
We had a dump bucket tip over and land on somebody recently.
I think I did hear about that. I feel like I at least saw the pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I could not imagine being in the landfill and something like that happening. I don't get out of my truck though. At all.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, I would pull up and dump next to our roll-off guys or next to those dump trucks until I saw one of them flip over on the landfill. And I was like, I'm never doing that again.
What about
I won't go anywhere else.
What about the roll-off doors closing and hitting your truck or hitting you?
They warn us about that. I always try to be cognizant of which side I'm on, and then I'll give them 7 feet of space, whatever they need for those doors on the back.
Right.
But especially in the winter when all the stuff freezes up in that top corner, it's not worth it to me. I'll just stay away from them and wait. I've
definitely had that happen to me already. So one of the door latches came undone and smashed right in my cab right in front of me. Oh yeah.
Right after I had mine done. It was funny because I had mine done. I'm like, Alex, this truck just hit me. Alex is like 3 days later, hey, a truck just hit me.
Yeah, man.
The worst part was it was my operations manager who was driving the roll-off. Say one of our dispatch girls up there to the landfill to show her how things operated up there.
Yeah.
He forgot to put the latch on.
Yep.
And then he pulls forward. I'm on the CB. I'm like, don't stop. Keep pulling forward. Oh, he stopped. And then all of a sudden, wing. And it came right into the cab with me. I'm like, just a few more inches over, and it would have came further in, and I would have been like crushed.
Yeah, that would have been horrible.
It was so crazy.
And I still had half a day left to go pick up, so I had to drive it out like that, kick the window out, then freaking go down and wait for a new windshield to be brought down.
Wow, we would jump in a spare.
Yeah, spare trucks. We don't have those here.
We don't have those.
I mean, they're all pieces of shit where we are, but I mean, yeah, we've got probably 40 spare trucks.
Yeah, we have not.
We're lucky if we have one spare that's even in operation to use if we have a breakdown. Otherwise, we're waiting for other drivers to get done with their trucks and then booting them out and then taking their stuff.
Yep. What annoys me is every day, like especially in the winter, you can tell for sure, but a lot of these other subcontractors have, even worse staffing than we do. So we can come back and we see trucks that are still covered in snow that have been sitting for 3 weeks. I'm like, what are those? Those aren't spare trucks. Like, well, if one of our drivers can't find a truck, why don't we just steal one of those at 9 o'clock in the morning when that's clearly not going out? But subcontractors don't talk to each other. The other problem is they're all family. There's like 96, 97 Rumpke family members involved in the business. Yeah. It gets messy.
So at times they don't even know who's in charge.
Mm-mm. Don't know whose truck it is.
Yeah, that's your truck. Take that truck today. No, you can't take that truck.
But yeah, we've had calls from my boss's cousin, first cousin. I don't know how it works, but he's like, yeah, I got like 10 routes sitting today. Can you guys come and help? Sure, man. We'll drive over there and help you.
So
it never gets reciprocated.
You guys do help other divisions then, like other.
Every so often, pretty rarely. We have one guy. He actually got hit by a driver a couple of years ago. He's got one leg. He's got a prosthetic. Super cool guy, young guy. But he's not. He only drives now. He doesn't frequently get out of the truck. Got to kill him. But he's like in charge of his crew. Has been helping us almost every day, like just running our routes because I guess his people are self-sufficient. I guess I don't really know how that works, but we give him one of our good helpers and turn them loose, and they crank out some trash. They pack out a truck every day. That helper's doing work.
Right. So you work a lot of hours where you're at?
Yeah. On a good day, 9 hours clock in to clock out. We build most of our routes to be about 6.5 to 7 is how they're kind of built. Because when I started, we were route pay, so we would get paid 9 hours every day. If we work 6 hours,
you get paid for 9.
Yeah,
Yep.
Got paid for 9. So that would encourage everybody to crime baby. It's fine. He'll cry himself back to sleep. That would encourage everybody, get their jobs done anymore. Somebody complained about their hours and changed a lot of people over to hourly pay, and everybody just tries to milk that clock.
Yep.
Yeah.
But little do they remember that we have GPSs on the trucks, and we can check where you are, man. Like you can't sit in a neighborhood in a cul-de-sac for 45 minutes.
They're actually cracking down at that at our job, that sitting.
Yeah.
They're not liking that. I guess a lot of drivers are doing it.
Which, in fairness, we're supposed to be taking 2 15s and a 30.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my lunch.
We've definitely used it before where we might come in, we're a little freaking tired because we didn't get enough sleep, so we pull over to the side of the road for like 15 minutes, take a power nap, But then I get like a boss calling you, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? You broke down? I'm like, no, I was just sleeping. Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, give me a second. See, one of the problems with my wife working late, she gets off work at like 8 o'clock at night. And like I said, some days I'm going in at midnight. So she wants me to stay up, or I've got to stay up with the baby. And so I'm getting 3 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep. The key is to get diagnosed with ADHD. Then you take your Adderall prescription with a monster and
just like
wired immediately. Exactly. And then you just crash on the weekends.
Right. You're on death's door for a whole 24 hours, and then Sunday you're like, I feel great.
Saturday, Sunday, you just slam down 10,000 calories. You go to 2 buffets, get all your nourishment in for the week. Because during the week, I'm like, I don't have time to eat. I'll eat when I'm dead.
Do you guys have schedules, like schedule you have to start at, or are you guys just allowed to start before this time?
So technically, everybody's supposed to start at 4 unless you're on a specific leave early list. Because most of our pickups aren't like private pickup. Like basically, we do a lot of contracting with townships and cities, so they all have their noise ordinances that we can't be in neighborhoods before 6 or 7, depending on the area. So we can pick up the county main roads before that, but in general, you shouldn't have a problem starting at 4. The other problem is that we can't fire people who choose to not start at 4 and decide to instead show up at 7 or 8 or 11. These are all real people that start their day at 11. We used to have one that finally got fired. Corporate fired him for being out still on his route at 11 o'clock at night. Yeah. Or leaving part of his route sitting at 11 o'clock at night. Anyway, yeah, he would come in about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. And then guess what? If something happens, we don't have somebody to do road calls that late because all the other trucks are parked. If he breaks down, we can't send another truck over there because all of our people are already off the clock. There's no problem solving that we can do for this guy. So then he would just leave half his route sitting for the next day. And then again, not show up until noon, 1 o'clock. So
That's crazy.
In a perfect world, everybody starts at 4 and everybody's done by 11.
How do you guys do, like, sorry,
I was just going to say it's not supposed to be in our division too, but certain people definitely don't really obey the start times. Not naming anybody. I don't know which way you're facing, Shawn. So hold on.
yeah, so, how does, how do you guys do commercial stops? Do you guys have, like, a front load truck or?
No, so we have a lot of rear load containers, reeving cylinder on top of the truck. We have a front load division that does obviously specifically all like the gross apartment buildings and all the big stuff downtown. But the further west you get, generally, that's where all of our containers are. The closer you get to weigh stations. And in general, the cops around here don't mess with us because they know we're not paying a ticket anyway. It's going to be the company.
Right.
And we don't know if we're overweight. We probably are. So when we get back on the highway just past the weigh station, we're going out to Indiana. We get off before the weigh station and take back roads, and they don't really care. But it doesn't make sense for them to run a front load truck all the way out there when we're already out there and we have the ability. So just do a bunch of rear load stuff. So like on my Tuesday, I think I pick up 13. We've probably got another 6 or 7 out there that get picked up. We do a lot of like schools that go daily out there, and then out towards Brookville and Liberty and Connersville. All that stuff is all rear load. They wouldn't send anybody in a front load out that way.
Right.
It's all so spread out, and we've already got the normal hand stops in the area that it just makes more sense to put on a rear load truck.
Right. So you got stops that are commercial as well, right on your route?
Yep. So we do a lot of, like I said, school districts. I have, florist shops, auto body and paint shops up in Brookville, medical supply stores, McDonald's, Mexican restaurants, Skyline Chili, which is another restaurant, Arby's. Yeah. So we kind of do it all. Big containers, big 8-yard containers, take up a lot of space.
I watched one of them get tipped and it go up, and then all of a sudden the can just.
Oh, someone screwed something up. Yeah, we're supposed to use those container locks that we all definitely use. Definitely aren't bent on every truck and don't lock.
That's crazy.
You just be careful where you're putting your hands and be careful what you're doing and make sure that where the bar hits is clear of debris, and you never have an issue. You just hope you don't. We had one at an IGA that was a compactor too, which was wild. And there would be times in the winter or wet seasons where you would have to first you have to pull it away, watch the power lines above you, and then pick it up a little bit, bounce it off the ground because it was so heavy. The truck wouldn't pick it up. You get the front wheels up off the ground a little bit, and just the lids themselves weighed like 120 pounds. You had to flip.
Yeah. I have 2 of them. I pick up 2 of them.
Those are gross, man.
They're real heavy can. Yeah, you go in there and you. Well, I drive a front load, so I go in there and stab it, and then I got to bounce the thing inside there because it doesn't want to like take it out easily, and then you back it up and then flip it and then put it back, and when you put it back, you got to push it on the ground because
you push all the junk.
You got to rise the tracks in.
See, we were nice because there was only a couple of us. You only send certain people to do those containers because you don't trust everybody to be able to follow all the proper steps and not take out a power line or not rip the compactor off the wall. So the people that he would have doing those types of containers would always be good enough at their, have it in their heart to kind of clean up behind the container a little bit so that you also didn't come into an errant raccoon in the middle of the night. Those were fun. Back there eating. Animals, man.
That's gotta suck though, man, because like when we get raccoons and stuff, they just jump at our window. For you guys, they actually jump at
your face. Yeah. Oh yeah. What pisses me off, man, this one, I've had it happen at this house 2 or 3 times. They'll have a bungee cord on the lid of their toter. 2 or 3 times I've had animals come out at me. The lid was bungeed. How? It's been 2 possums and a raccoon. What is going on? Y'all just not hear him in there? Like he's in there talking to you probably. And cats, there's a lot of stray cats too. I hate cats.
Yeah. They we definitely get a lot of animals in ours, but it's not as bad. Like I could not imagine. They just tell you to keep the windows up because they'll come in your window. But I mean, I could not imagine being that close to one or that close to a can, and you pick it up, and all of a sudden they come out.
Yeah, they got one way to get out. It's about that much space between your face and the handle.
Yeah. Alex don't really see animals in his can.
No, I mean, when I worked for the village, I got a lot of skunks, raccoons, cats. Once in a while, you have a stray dog that ended up somehow in a damn freaking toter. all right, you dump it and they hear a dog. Like, what the hell? How in the hell did did you just like not want your dog anymore? You just threw it away? Like, what the fuck?
Probably. Yeah. There's been a couple stories where people have saved like puppies that have been in pillowcases. Yeah.
Kittens too.
What's real fun around here is deer season.
Oh yeah, we love deer
Yeah.
season around here. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Throw open the lid of a can, just got a head staring out at you. Yeah.
It was funny
Scares,
because
scares the new guys.
I was working for the village. You know, it was funny because a lot of the older guys work there, so they're all like 40s, 50s. You know, back when I was only like 25, whatever. And we had one guy. He was always like he was always gagging every time he saw a deer. He was always gagging. He was a hunter, but he couldn't field dress a deer. He couldn't do anything at all. So I remember one time we were all joking around. He played, and we like playing pranks on each other all the time. So I went out. We got a can in town, you know, deer carcass. So I brought the head back with me. You know, after we went to the landfill and brought it back, and I put it on the hood of his truck. You know, and then when he clocked out and walked out, he fucking started throwing up and gagging right in the parking lot. Like, oh, well, that was where we're putting the Vaseline on my door handle on my car the other day. So you're welcome.
He would
I remember finding a mounted boar's head in the trash one time.
That's awesome.
So, you know, not gross. It was off somebody's wall. But I put it on the front of my garbage truck because why not?
Yeah.
It was on there for about a week. We drive through Miami University up in Oxford, Ohio, a lot. About 2 weeks after of it being on there, I had a note from the owner that said, "Hey, I think it's really funny, but we're getting a lot of calls. We're going to need to get you to get that off of your truck." I was like, "Okay, that's fair." We also pick up a this is probably the worst one we have. We pick up a kill animal shelter out in the middle of nowhere, like Great Danes and
that sucks.
Yeah, lots of explosions.
I pick up a butcher.
Oh yeah, it's got to be squirty.
Yeah.
Shawn, now why aren't you getting behind your blade that day? Clean out the tracks.
Because there's blood behind that blade.
Yeah, give that a few days. You got to run a recycling route first. Get some cardboard back in there.
It is bad. Like when I first started doing the route, because I came from a cardboard route over to that route. Well, I came from Resi, then to a front load, and I went to a recycling route. Then they moved me to the trash route, and I found out that this route has a butcher on it. So I go and hit the butcher, and I know every day I go behind the blade and clean behind the blade, and I'm like, I go back there, I'm walking around, and I'm just like sliding and slipping, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this ever again. If I fall, I'm gonna fall into blood. You know, I'm gonna come out with blood all over me.
Not just blood, but all the organs that are back there and everything else. You know.
Yeah.
All the flavor.
Yeah, I come back and I just got like the
just
gut
water
just hanging on my neck.
That's right.
Just water. It's just water.
Yeah, that's what I warn when somebody wants to walk out and throw something of their own. I'm like, careful. That's I'll tell you it's water, but it's not.
Yeah.
I like telling the old people too when they want to bring out their little bag and they're hopping out to the truck. "You're hired, bud." He's like, "Oh, I would never do that."
Yeah.
I will say though, I think the most fun I had doing trash has always been in rear load compared to any other part of the job. Honestly, you just get to do a lot more, see a lot more. You're interacting more with the public than you are if you're just rolling up with an ASL, 10 seconds, boom, 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 done.
You're very active all day, so the day moves faster too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, don't tell my boss, like, if it was like a 70-degree, partly sunny day, I'd probably do the job for free. Like, it's that easy. But then, -8, pay me. 96, 100% humidity, you're going to pay me.
Right.
But
Your boss is on standby right now, and he just
right,
said
I'm
that
sure.
every
Yeah.
summer
Oh,
you're
hey,
not
Jack.
getting paid. You're screwed.
God, I still remember there was this one can in we pick up so many trailer parks. It's lovely. But I could see it coming. It was the beginning of summer and in the dark, but I could see it come from a mile away. It was kind of frosted over, so I was like, freezer clean out. And then as I got closer, you could see the forbidden rice all over the outside. Yeah. So knowing what I knew from the body company, you breathe shallow through your mouth.
Mhm.
You don't smell anything. So do that. Pull up, dump the can. I'm fine. Pull forward 150 yards to the next stop, way down the street. Get out, breathe right for the first time, and immediately just puke my brains out because the smell is just still so bad. That was the one can that got me. We pick up sewage plant containers, which are disgusting. We pick up, like I said, deer. You got dogs. You got all manner of animals. But that one creature clean out was the worst I've ever smelled.
Yeah, especially in the summertime. I've gotten that. Even in the Resi trucks, though. I mean, everybody thinks it's a Resi truck, so it's good, but you still smell it. It's still there and bad, and you'll pick up a nasty stop, and you'll drag that stop for like 30 miles with the smell just coming right into your cab. Like, there's nothing you can do. You're just packing against it, but the smell stays in your cab for a while.
Or is when you throw your parking brake handle on rear load and dive out of the truck stop stuff, and all that water from behind the blade dumps out onto your engine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Allegedly. What?
Yeah, I was gonna say
We
you don't know that really
don't
happens,
do
do you?
that. I used
I
to be way.
never drive around town, and because all ours are basically contained, but the clean out doors for some reason on most of these trucks are all to open air.
Oh, great.
So every time you take a corner, especially on a real rainy day, all that water just comes out like freaking a flood. You're taking a corner and you're like, oh look, a car, whoosh, right on the car. You're like,
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Right. And
Oh
then
yeah,
and
love doing
yeah.
that.
And then I'd call. Like, it was funny because me and Alex used to run the town together. Right, I'd do one side of the town, Alex would do the other side of the town, and then I'd call Alex and be like, "Hey, Alex, go over to Main Street and look at the puddle I left."
Nah.
And then Alex would call me, "Hey, go over to this street and look at the puddle I left."
Like, oh hey Shawn, look at the puddle you did leave. You just blew a hydraulic line.
Nah. Yeah, I love when I'm
Yeah.
doing more container heavy routes after big rainstorm. The whole back is completely full.
Yep.
So that's when you do your late braking techniques when someone's tailgating a garbage truck like a dumbass.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Floosh.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. Ours is skunks. Like, skunks is the worst. Man, I've tipped the skunk in, and I've dragged it the whole day all the way to the landfill, and then people at the landfill's like, "Oh, that's a skunk."
Damn.
Yep.
I remember early on to the CNG days, I guess the cats have learned or something, we had somebody get a cat stuck up in their fan blade when they cranked it on. That truck smelled like shit for 8 months.
Oh man.
Just cooking animal.
Yeah, we've never had that, and ours sit right by the wood.
Well, no, we had a raccoon go in Bob's truck a while back. He got right in the fan assembly. He cranked it up and drove it out to route, and then he just shredded everything.
Oh, I didn't even know. I
Yep,
didn't even
no amount of power washing, suds, and nothing. That flavor's cooked on there. Yeah.
Your good old girl 18's all nasty now, Shawn.
That was 18?
Yeah.
Well, he's dead. Wait until I see him Monday.
Do you guys have fully assigned trucks every day? Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, that's how it usually works. Yeah, it's crazy because I came from residential into front load, and when I was in residential, I drove 18. That's the truck, and to me that was the best truck. Now everybody complains about it. But to me that was the best truck. New trucks were coming in, brand new trucks were coming in. I was like, don't give me a brand new truck. I'll stay with this truck.
Yeah, we've got guys like that too.
Yeah, because it had AC and heat. So like if you're in the wintertime and it's actually a hot day, I could turn on the AC. The other trucks you got to turn off the heat. There's a valve that you got to turn off.
Yeah, we've got that too. A lot of those for us are accessible. Mine, now it's buried.
Yep. Mine is too. You got to lift the cab.
Yep.
But I lift the cab. Like I'll lift my own cab and turn my heat
We don't
on.
even have a. I guess I could find a stick to pump it, but
right. Yeah,
I don't think it has a handle on it. I think it needs a wrench to be put on it. Yeah, it's annoying. But when we get cold here, we get cold here. And otherwise, I'll just open up one window on one side and my bus door on the other side, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But we just got AC in trucks like 3 years ago. The first AC trucks we had, and it worked horribly.
Well,
Thankfully, mine's better. But you have to get the cabin air filter replaced because you run so dusty everywhere. Got to get that replaced every 2 weeks. Otherwise, it just freezes itself up.
You got a lot of cab overs there?
Every CNG is a cab over, so 35, 40%.
Yeah. That's the truck that crossed over, right? Your truck crossed over too, Alex, right?
Yeah. Every week.
Yeah. Every day. What do you mean every week?
I mean, like every week, like it'll run great for a week, and then you'll get after that, everything's frozen up because the filter's clogged.
Right.
Every week.
Really? I thought it was like every day because I know you'd be talking to me and you'd be like, hey.
Well, yeah, it starts. It's good for like 3 or 4 days, and then the 5th day it starts freezing over, and then you try getting them to replace the filter, and they're like, "Oh, we're not doing it again." They don't want to clean it, so then it's every day after that. But,
I've never understood why they lock those behind screws. Like they should make the cabin air filter like accessible.
Yeah, so you can like smack it or something.
That's something else I haven't understood is why not send some of these, and some of our drivers are morons and shouldn't have this power, but like send a driver out with like a hose kit. So if somebody blows a hose on route, it can just be repaired instead of waiting, or somebody needs an air filter, have them go up to the parts counter, grab an air filter, put an air filter in their own truck. No, can't do that. We hire the guys right out of high school to do all of our repairs.
I agree with that 100% because I'll be out en route and I'll blow a hydraulic line and I'll duct tape it. I have like a pound of duct tape on that damn line. Finish the day, get back to the shop, and they're like, "What's this duct tape for?" That's the new
Man,
line. You guys got to replace that.
3 weeks in a row, or you have 3 or 4 weeks in a row that I blew my main line at the same stop at the end of my day. Again, 70 miles from home at like 11:30 in the morning. So then I got to wait for the tire shop to come out because they're the ones that do all of our spill cleanups. Got to wait for the mechanic to come out because again, it's the main line, so all of my fluid's gone. Got to wait for safety to come out because they come out to all fluid spills.
Yeah.
And they're
You
like,
guys
weren't
got
we
to
just
call.
out here?
You guys have to call. What is it?
DEC,
DEC.
I don't know what that is.
The
the Department of
Environmental
Environmental
Control people.
Concern.
Yeah. No, I don't think Ohio even has that or Indiana even has that. They'll take pictures and stuff. We have, spill kits and stuff on the truck to try to
Yep.
maintain any waterways, and then safety will come out and take pictures and stuff and do a little mini investigation, but we've never had to call anybody else. If it gets bad, they'll call in some type of environmental restoration company, but I haven't heard of any of that, of us having any issues like that recently.
So in New
Yeah,
York, we have to have every time we have a hydraulic spill, we got to report, was it over 5 gallons? If it's over 5 gallons, they got to contact CDC, get documentation.
So potentially the safety department is doing that because we have been asked that question.
So
Yeah.
is it more than 5 gallons? Oh, no. That's
Four
like
and a half at most.
4.99 at best.
Yeah.
How the hell would I know? I wasn't measuring it.
Well, is your hydraulic tank empty?
That's a lot of gallons in that hydraulic tank.
I don't know. The lid is too crusted on for me to check.
Shawn knows all about hydraulic spills.
Alex's truck has a valve to turn off the hydraulic system, but it doesn't work. Like Alex called me, he's like, "It's still coming out," and I got the valve off, and I'm like,
because my hydraulic tank sits above all my hydraulic lines, so it's literally up in the air.
So it just siphons.
It just siphons all day long, and the system's so charged with fluid the whole time that as soon as you turn off the main valve for everything, it still has all this pressure built in. But I can drain my air pressure, and it'll eventually stop about 30 minutes later after draining another 5 gallons out the system.
Of course. 4.5. 4.5. Yeah.
So you only gotten rid of a total of 4.5 gallons.
Yeah, I mean, well, it got bad one day where I blew an arm line, and I'm sitting there with the spill kit bag. My spill kit's out, but it's still going right in the waterway. I had to get out and hold this bag underneath the hydraulic line, and I collected the fluid in that bag. The mechanic finally came out and he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "If I move, all this fluid's going right in that ditch."
Yeah. We our CNGs. We had to carry a spill. Not a spill kit. What is it?
Speedy dry.
Speedy dry. We had to carry speedy dry with us en route because it was guaranteed you were blowing a line.
I think they've turned all of our trucks down, like all the pressures down. I haven't seen a line blow in a long time, like 3 years. And also I haven't seen my weights that I'm used to seeing loading the truck out anymore. I would see a 30,000 pound day, which I'm pretty is more normal for you guys. But anymore, I'll see 24,000 on a loaded truck.
Yeah.
A lot of days it's even less than that. Like right now, because it's post Christmas light trash. I think my Friday was 8 tons, 7 tons, something like that.
Yeah, that'd be like a really easy day. Well, not in residential. Residential, that's a pretty heavy day.
Yeah. I mean, it's about standard for most resi routes. I mean,
right.
I mean, it's not like it was a couple of years back when we were packing out trucks with 16 tons.
Oh my God, COVID, bro! Everybody around here redid their kitchens and bathrooms at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So much tile and so many cabinets. We were packing out on routes that I had never seen pack out before. And I would get these phone calls at like 8 o'clock in the morning. The trucks were packing out. I was like, I don't know what to go dump, I guess, and come back. I don't know what to do, guys. This is ridiculous.
Now,
just go in the back and just undo the turnbuckles a little bit. It makes some extra room.
Not that much extra room. Not when they still had 3/4 of a route sitting.
During COVID, did you guys get any like perks or anything like that?
I feel like we had like a little temporary pay bump or something.
Did you guys?
I think.
We didn't get
nothing.
If we did, it wasn't much, or like the boss was handing out $100 bills or something. I don't remember. It wasn't anything insane. Like on the early days, I was fully prepared until we knew how not serious it really was for people who were rolling around in shit juice all day.
Mm-hmm.
I was like showing up early and like sanitizing all of our trucks and was fully prepared to be working 18-hour days. So I was like, if this gets bad, like half of our crew is going to go down because they're all heavy drinkers and heavy smokers, or just heavy drinkers and light smokers.
Yeah.
So like I'll work all these hours and do all this extra stuff just to make sure I don't have to work 18-hour days, but I'm ready if we need it. Now we all had longer days for sure, 3 hours longer. That's just because half of us were having to do an extra dump from extra weight. But besides that, we didn't see a difference.
Yeah, that was the same thing with us. We didn't really see anything.
Yeah, it would have been nice to work from home, right?
Or like other jobs were giving out like incentives for being it. Like you'd get discounts at stores and stuff like that.
Yeah, that would have, yeah, to get some first responder discounts or something.
Yeah,
That would have been
like
nice.
that, yeah.
Nah,
Yeah, we didn't get that.
I mean, come on, the trash men are the unsung heroes. You know that already. Like,
That's right.
the nurses, the doctors, the medical people.
They only think about us when one of us gets hit and dies.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the only time we ever get publicity is when, oh, did you hear about that guy that was pulling across that can across the street and got ran over by that semi?
Or we hit and kill somebody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I had that happen a couple weeks ago.
We only get bad news in trash, right, man? Like, no good news,
Yep. We still haven't released a final on this, or at least if they have, I haven't seen it. We had one of my driver's trucks. He was fine. He was getting back in his bus store when it happened, but it was 3:00 in the morning. Some 23-year-old in a pickup truck somehow cranked a hard left turn and accelerated within 100 yards to 55, 60 miles an hour and ended up with the engine in his lap and through his face.
Man.
Yeah, I saw that. I was standing. It was right before the rest of us got there on Fridays. I started at normal time, so I checked my phone because I had a notification. I was like, Rumpke driver, Green Township. I was like, that's one of my guys. Hit the message. I was like, hey, Jason, bud, is this Rodney? He's like, oh boy, I got to make some phone calls because Rodney hadn't even had a chance to call anybody yet. And like I said, he was fine. We gave him a few days off, and he was ready to come back to work like that Monday. He's like, oh, I'm fine. I don't.
We had a guy do that, and they ended up quitting because they couldn't handle driving the truck anymore.
That's fair. I get it.
Well, I mean, that guy was also involved with a head-on collision with an old couple that went over the line.
Yeah.
They went over the line and went dead on 60 miles an hour versus 60 miles an hour. Yeah, it was not a pretty scene. So
Yeah, that's interesting. I always worry about head-on collisions in these front loads because, like, the crash structure is your kneecaps.
Yeah.
After a while, I didn't realize I would be resting my foot on something down the footwell as I'm driving. I get to look and I'm like, oh, that's the headlight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This doesn't seem safe.
No, I mean, there's nothing between you and a cab over and the road.
Yeah, you just hope they dive under you instead of coming up through you. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen an accident that happened like that, where they hit the side of one of our trucks and destroyed the whole driver's side of that truck.
Luckily, most of our resi trucks are all right-hand drive, so we're always on the right hand. So if anything's oncoming, at least.
Are you guys full-time right-hand drive? Oh, that's sick. Yeah. We got the dual drives.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so there's still two steering wheels.
Oh,
and our company still makes us, when we're supposed to go on route, to switch over.
I gotcha.
leave the shop on the driver's side, then when you're en route, go to the other side. But I mean, it's just a pain in the ass. I mean, when I started here, like I said, like it was only right, we would only drive right-hand drive, and half the time the steering wheel or the gas pedal on the other side would be disabled. So it wouldn't even be in operation. So you just start your day on the right-hand side, go do everything from the right hand.
Once we got CNGs, we were speed limited from the right to, I think, 22 miles an hour. Unless you got it going down a hill and then would auto shift up and you get up to 30.
Well, we don't know about slip shifting those automatic trucks.
Right.
Garbage, man.
Some of them have tricks, though. Like you start it on the driver's side, you start coasting it on the driver's side, then you switch it to the other side, and then the speed limiter's gone.
I'll have to try that. Because that would kind of be nice out in the country when I'm driving, 8 miles in between stops. But at the same time, I'd rather sit in the truck with AC or heat and not have my bus door cranked wide open. Because it's it's a cab over, so you can't push the mirror.
Yep.
If the mirror is loose enough to push, it's loose enough to shake violently, and you can't back up to save your life.
So, is there anything else you'd like to share, like any words of advice for our viewers?
Don't complicate. If you're in the trash business, don't complicate your job. If you're out of the trash business, don't complicate your job. For us in the trash business, it's literally find trash, pick up trash. Don't compare your job to the job that one of your coworkers is doing, because you don't know what all your coworker does, right? If one of my bosses, and I've picked this up as they've given me a little bit, not more power, but like more responsibilities, If I'm asking you to go pick up this street, it's because I'm going to pick up 3 more streets. It's going to take me 3 times as long. But I just need you to do this one thing so that I'm not out here for 6 more hours. So in general, like, don't compare what you're doing to what somebody else is doing. Just worry about yourself, worry about your own job. And at the end of the day, don't complicate it and don't get in your head about your job. It's find trash, pick up trash, go home. Simple as that.
Right. Right. Well, everybody, thanks for watching, and until next time.
Deuces. Thanks, guys.